What if I told you the key to profound intuition and spiritual insight isn't some mystical secret, but an organ already inside your brain? An organ ancient civilizations revered as the third eye, now largely dormant in our modern world. Today, we're not just talking theories, we're giving you the practical steps to awaken it. Most people live their entire lives without ever accessing this. They chase external success, external validation, external answers, while the true source of vision lies dormant right between your eyebrows. This inner vision has been called many things: the third eye, the window of perception, the eye of insight. And for thousands of years, it was revered as the ultimate organ of inner awareness, a bridge between the ordinary world and the hidden realms of experience. Today, we're not just talking about it, we're going to activate your understanding of it, not with fiction, not with vague spirituality, but with grounded concepts, step-by-step initiation, and real practical awareness that you can apply right now. This is Seeker Inner Vision Activation. And what you're about to hear could change not just how you think, but how you see. Why the third eye matters. Before we explore how to activate this inner vision, we must understand why it matters. Throughout human history, the greatest seekers, sages, mystics, yogis, shamans, hermeticists, and ancient philosophers have all pointed to one truth. Your world is shaped by your perception, not your beliefs. Not your opinions, not your assumptions, your perception. And perception is not limited to sight through the eyes. It's a deeper sensing, a knowing that doesn't rely on logic or memory. This deeper sensing has a home in what ancient traditions call the third eye, known in Sanskrit as Ajna Chakra, the center of intuition, inner vision, and higher insight. Thousands of years ago, one being became immortalized not for his looks, not for his strength, not even for his mystic lifestyle, but for this. He opened his third eye. This being is known as Shiva, and the reason we still revere him today, across cultures and eras, is not because of legends of snakes or mountains. It's because he accessed what most humans cannot, the direct perception of reality beyond the five senses. The fire of inner perception. Ask yourself this question. When Shiva opened his third eye, why did it burn? Not metaphorically, not poetically, but literally. Ancient stories and symbolic traditions describe a fiery opening, a flame of awareness so profound it transformed his entire being. Here's what that fire represents. It's not heat, it's not energy in the physical sense. It's the burning away of all conditioned perception, all ignorance, all layers of illusion that conceal true sight. Imagine every belief you hold, every thought you cling to, every emotional attachment you've ever had, as kindling inside a fire chamber. Now imagine that fire burning it all away, not selectively, not partially, but completely. That is what it means to burn the inner self to ash. Everything that you think makes you, you, everything you identify with, everything you cling to as truth, is literally turned to ash. And what remains? Space, vacuum, awareness without obstruction. And in that vacuum, the third eye opens. There are two ways this can happen. One, total inner emptiness, a vacuum so absolute that the door of perception simply collapses inward, opening naturally. Two, internal pressure builds until the door of perception is forced open from within. Most people live in the middle, never empty, never pressured, just stuck, like walking down a street and hitting a rock and choosing to stand there forever. That's the middle path, and it leads nowhere. Seekers don't follow the middle path. Seekers follows the path of transformation. Why the third eye is closed? For most people, let's be honest, you can read, write, think, analyze, yet your world feels limited. Problems feel stuck, ideas feel vague, solutions feel unreachable. You've tried logic, you've tried productivity hacks, you've tried motivation, but you still feel constrained. Why? Because the third eye, the inner organ of perception, remains dormant. It doesn't activate through effort, it doesn't activate through force, and it doesn't activate through willpower. It activates when one of two things happens. Either you become empty enough on the inside, or you become pressured enough from within that your inner doorway can no longer stay closed. Most people avoid pressure. Most people avoid emptiness, so they never awaken. But we are seekers, and seekers are willing to explore the edges of inner experience, even when it feels uncomfortable. Because when that inner door opens, reality changes, perception sharpens, intuition awakens, and life begins to respond in ways that ordinary logic cannot explain. Your inner vision is not imagination. Let's clear something up right now. When we talk about inner vision, we are not talking about fantasy. We are not talking about imagination. We are not talking about escapism. We are talking about a faculty of awareness that lies beneath the surface of ordinary thought. A faculty that ancient cultures trained systematically through practice, discipline, and experience. This vision does not come from looking outward, it comes from looking inward. Look around you right now. Your eyes are gathering information, but your mind is interpreting it through filters, memories, conditioning, beliefs, fears. Your third eye, however, when activated, perceives directly before filters take hold. It perceives truth, structure, patterns beneath patterns, possibilities beyond the physical, connections without logic. This level of perception changes reality, not because it alters the world externally, but because it alters the way you engage with it. This is the real power of inner vision, not escape, but clarity. The map of inner perception. To understand how this works, we need a model, something that bridges ancient insight with practical structure. In yogic sciences, there is a map of energy centers known as chakras. You may have heard of them, but most explanations miss the depth. There are 114 energy centers, but only 7 primary ones. These 7 describe the evolution of human awareness. 1. Root chakra, existence, survival, basic needs. 2. Sacral chakra, pleasure, emotion, desire. 3. Solar plexus chakra, action, willpower, personal power. 4. Heart chakra, connection, creativity, love. 5. Throat chakra, expression, influence, voice. 6. Third eye chakra, insight, intuition, inner vision. 7. Crown chakra, non-dual experience, unity, enlightened presence. Most people's awareness never moves beyond the lower levels. They get stuck in survival, pleasure, action, creativity, or expression, and never reach insight. But here's the key. You don't need to bypass the lower levels. You need to elevate awareness. You need to let energy move upward, not forcefully, but fluidly, until you reach insight and beyond. The third eye is the gateway between the ordinary world and deeper understanding. When it awakens, you don't just think differently, you see life differently. Perception versus sensation. Our physical senses gather data from the world, sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. But these senses are designed for survival in the physical world, not for inner awareness. The third eye, on the other hand, is not a physical organ, it is a perceptual organ. Where the eyes see surface, the third eye sees structure beneath surface. Where the ears hear sound, the third eye hears rhythm beneath noise. Where the mind thinks, the third eye knows. And here's the secret, the third eye doesn't work through effort. It works through alignment. Effort is tension. Alignment is openness. When your inner experience aligns with deeper silence, the third eye activates naturally. This is why ancient mystics taught silence, meditation, contemplation, and inner surrender, not because they rejected the world, but because they wanted to see beyond it. Your third eye is not blocked. A common modern belief is that the third eye is blocked and must be cleansed. But here's the truth. Nothing is blocked. Everything is unactivated. Blocked implies something is in the way. Unactivated means it hasn't been engaged. There's a big difference. Your third eye isn't blocked by toxins. It's unactivated because your awareness has never been trained to operate beyond conditioned patterns. This is encouraging because it means you don't need remedies, supplements, crystals, or mystical gimmicks. You need training, practice, awareness, and that's what we're about to begin. Preparation for activation. Before we begin the actual activation technique, let's prepare your mind. This is not a trance. This is not hypnosis. This is deliberate activation of perceptual awareness. Here's what to do. 1. Sit comfortably, feet grounded, spine relaxed but upright. 2. Let your breath become slow and natural, not forced, not controlled, just present. 3. Let your thoughts soften, not suppressed, just observed. Notice how your mind tries to chase distractions. That's normal. Awareness is like a muscle. It needs repetition to grow stronger. Third eye activation method. Now that you're prepared, let's begin. This technique works with two elements. A. Eye position. B. Mental imagery. Together, they start engaging perceptual awareness beyond the five senses. Step 1. Entering the alpha state. Take a slow breath in. Hold for a moment. And as you release, allow your body to soften. Now in your mind, visualize the number 3 times. 3, 3, 3. Now visualize the number 2 3 times. 2, 2, 2. Now visualize the number 1 3 times. 1, 1, 1. As you do this, notice your mind settling, thoughts slowing, perception widening. You are now entering a state of relaxed awareness. Step 2. Eye position. Let your eyes gently drift upward, not strained, not tense, just slightly upward, toward the center of your forehead, where your third eye resides. You may feel a subtle sensation, a pressure, a warmth, a light pull. Don't force it, just notice. This upward gaze activates sight that ordinary sight can't see. It is not about looking outward, it's about turning attention inward. Step 3. Create the vision. Now bring to mind a problem, something stuck. This can be anything, a relationship, a career challenge, a decision you can't make. Picture it vividly, not in words but in sensory experience. What does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? Let the problem become a scene in your mind. Feel the tension it creates inside you. Let it be big, let it be real, let it be visceral. Now locate this scene in your heart center. Imagine your heart holding this entire scene. This is your inner experience right now. Step 4. Surrender the load. In your mind, see this image as a ball of energy in your heart. Hold your breath for a moment. Now on the exhale, send the ball upward. Not in space, but in your inner awareness. See it moving up, 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 into higher awareness. Into your higher self, into the space of vision. 3, 2, 1. Release it. Now let your awareness rest in the space that remains. This space is empty, not void, not vacant, but silent, clear, open. This is the moment of inner perception. Step 5. Visualize the solution. Now, in this space, imagine the solution. Not in logical terms, not in steps, not in planning, but as experience. What does it feel like when the problem is resolved? What do you see? Who are you with? What's happening? Make this scene bigger, more vivid, more colorful. Feel the emotional shift. Feel the joy, the peace, the clarity, the relief. You are not visualizing the problem, you are experiencing the solution. Step 6. Anchor the vision. Now imagine this solution also as a ball of energy in your heart. On the next exhale, send it upward just like the problem. 3, 2, 1. Release. And now, slowly, open your eyes. Notice how the world looks a little different, not because anything changed outside, but because your perception changed inside. How this affects reality. You might ask, that was just imagination, right? Here's the subtle but powerful truth. When you engage inner perception in this way, you are not imagining arbitrarily. You are training a faculty of awareness that the physical senses do not control. This is the faculty that ancient meditators strengthened through silent contemplation for decades. You are shortening that process. You are retraining how your mind perceives information. Every time you practice this technique, your intuition becomes sharper. Your sense of clarity increases. Your decisions become more aligned. Your inner world communicates with your outer world. Opportunities show up that logic could never predict. This is not mysticism. This is perceptual training. It is consistent, repeatable, and grounded. Signs you are activating your third eye. In the days after performing this exercise, you may notice synchronicities, events that seem too aligned to be coincidence, sudden clarity about something you were stuck on, intuitive hits, knowing something without logic, unexpected solutions appearing in your life, deeper awareness during the day, moments where you just know what to do next. This process is not a quick fix. It's not a trick. It's a way of perceiving, one that has been cultivated by the greatest inner explorers of human history. You are activating what most people never access, not because it doesn't exist, but because they've never trained it. Today you did. Today you opened a door, and every time you return to this state of inner awareness and vision, the door opens wider. So do this practice. Observe what happens in your reality. Track the shifts. Notice the signs. Stay open. Stay present. Your inner vision is waiting. If this resonated with you, share it with a friend. Please like and subscribe to show support for the channel. Awaken, ascend, become.